Hey everyone, Tech Dad here, and if you're picking up that new M5 iPad Pro, man, are you making a good decision. The wife says you can't do anything right, baloney. When she sees you playing Madden 26 on your new M5 iPad while you have a PlayStation controller connected, she's gonna be so proud of you. Or maybe you need to show her how to use slide over so she can pull out that country music while she's shopping on Target. That might actually win more points. So I got my M5 iPad Pro the day it came out, and if you've seen my content before, you know I use this thing for everything under the sun, basically. And in this video, I'm going to give you 8 quick tips on how to use the M5 iPad Pro and get absolutely the most out of it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to start with the coolest tip that I've seen in like forever, and I actually didn't discover this. My audience actually gave me some comments that helped me figure this out. So I just upgraded to the 11-inch iPad Pro, but my previous iPad was a 13-inch, so I lost some screen size here. And everything was looking a little cramped, and sometimes in the browser, everything was coming up with that mobile version, and on the 13-inch, it didn't do that. Well, people on the channel said, "Hey, Tech Dad, don't you know about that more space setting?" I was like, nope. I don't know about that. Well, it's pretty awesome. If you go to Settings and Display and Brightness and then tap Display Zoom, there's an option there to select more space. I had no idea that was even there. So when you're under default, I'll show you YouTube Studio, for example. There's a left-hand menu on this web page, and under default, it's kind of cramped, and it actually gives a mobile version of this. Well, when you select the more space option, you'll see your iPad do a quick little reset, and then everything loads just like a full-size computer browser. So if you have the 11-inch iPad Pro, try that more space setting and you'll get a more computer browser-like experience where things actually load full size as they should. All right, tip number 2, use slide over. So did you know that iPadOS 26.1 just dropped? And the big thing in this one is the return of slide over. Now, it's not quite the same as it used to be in iPadOS 18, but now you can actually assign one window as a slide over window. So you can press and hold on the stoplight buttons and select slide over. And now that window will stay on top of all other windows no matter what. And a lot of people love this feature, and so they use it for things like the music app. If you just want to do a quick switch on the song that you're playing, you can set the music app to slide over and then select your song and then actually swipe it completely off the screen. But it's available quickly if you just pull from the left. You can quickly slide the app back on the screen, make your selections and changes, and put it away again. This is really handy. It's also nice when you're taking notes. If you're doing some research on a school project and you want to take some notes really quick, maybe copy some text and paste it into a note. It's really easy just to put the Notes app into slide over, put the text in, put it away, continue scrolling, and so on. So you got to try out slide over. Make sure your iPad is fully updated. That just launched like yesterday. All right, next, let's talk about making focused home screens. Did you know that you could have like a million different home screens and you can set them up in your focuses? And you can access your focuses by pulling down on the top right corner and accessing them in the control center. And so you can set up a work focus or a personal focus, and this will make it so that your screen is locked just on one specific home screen, and you can set it up to where you have specific apps that you want to see. And you can even set it up to where you can only receive certain notifications from certain apps. So for my work focus, I just want my Microsoft Office apps. This helps me from getting distracted and playing video games. I never play video games at work. But I can make it so that I only get notifications from my Microsoft apps and nothing else. If you want to create a new home screen so that you can set it up as a focus, you can just go to the lock screen on your iPad and press and hold, create a new home screen, set the apps up the way you want it, and then when you go to the focus in the control center, tap settings, and then you choose the specific home screen you want and the pages within that home screen. It's pretty cool. Take a minute to try it out and set one up. All right, the next tip is to try the different multitasking modes. And so if you go to Settings and Multitasking and Gestures, you can pick from the 3 different modes. There's the old school basic windowing mode on iPad, which is actually still really good when you're just using it in hand and you don't want to use a whole bunch of windows when you're just sitting on the couch. You can just set it to this mode, and then the classic iPad experience is all yours. You can use the swipe gestures to go from app to app. I still really like this mode. But if you want to get a whole lot of work done and you want to have more windows open, you can choose the windowing mode, and there are other gestures in this mode, such as flicking an app to the left and right so that they will resize. That's really nice. Or you can try Stage Manager, and I probably still prefer Stage Manager for getting work and productivity done because you can organize your apps into groups, and then those groups exist on the left side of the screen, and you can quickly switch between groups. So if I want to clump a couple apps together, but then jump to another group of apps, it's very easy to do. So pick the windowing mode that you like or jump around between the ones depending on what you're doing with your iPad. All right, let's talk about Apple Pencil Pro for a minute and some tips for this. So your M5 iPad Pro is compatible with Apple Pencil Pro, which launched last year. And it's got some extra features beyond those basic Apple Pencils. Some of the main features are you can actually tap the Apple Pencil to change which writing tool you're using. You can jump back and forth between pen and eraser, for example. But you should go into Apple settings and see which setting works best for you, because you can change what that tap control does. Apple Pencil Pro also has a squeeze control, and so that is so that you can quickly bring up the tools. And this is okay, but I found when the sensitivity was down, I actually was doing it way too often. Those tools would come up when I didn't want them to. So you can turn that sensitivity down or up so that it meets your needs and you're not pulling those tools up on accident. Now, if you're in the professional world like me, you should try using Apple Pencil. I'm in project management. I have to lead meetings all the time, and so I'll use my iPad as a whiteboard and display it on the screen. Well, my handwriting sucks, so maybe you have that problem too, gentlemen. So my next tip is use the autocorrect for your handwriting. So this is actually in the settings within the app, so you can bring up the tools and then the three dots and select to autocorrect your handwriting. Just make sure that's toggled on, and then when you write, it will help make adjustments. So when I'm planning out my project tasks for my team members, they can actually read what I'm writing. Pretty darn cool. The next tip I want to talk about also involves the Apple Pencil, and that's taking a quick screenshot. So we use screenshots all the time to call out everything for personal and business use. And on your iPad, you can take a screenshot really easily with the Apple Pencil just by dragging up from the bottom left corner. It will instantly take a clip of what you're looking at on the screen. And then you can start to mark it up with the Apple Pencil, which I think is really awesome. It's super fun, super quick, and very handy when you want to take a quick screenshot and call something out. Give that a try. All right, the last tip is very important. You need to write this one down, and it's how to connect a PlayStation controller to your M5 iPad Pro. So this thing is a gaming monster, I'm just going to say it, and you have lots of games on here now that are console quality. And your PlayStation controller is compatible with those games automatically, but you have to know how to pair it, and I got to look up the instructions every time I do this. So to pair your PlayStation controller, pull up the Bluetooth menu in your iPad Pro, and then press and hold the PlayStation button and then the Create button, I think it's called. In the old days, we would call that the Select button on the Nintendo controller. It's the button on the left. Press and hold those until you get that flashing blue light, and then you should see it come up in your Bluetooth settings. And then the games just work. You really don't have to do anything else. This works for Call of Duty. This works for Destiny Rising. It works for Madden 26. And if you do Xbox Cloud Gaming, it also works with that as well. I got content coming out on that soon. All right, so those are my top 8 tips to get you up and running on your M5 iPad Pro. But if you want to know something else, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to help you out. Play around on your new device. You're going to love this M5. This thing is a monster. I absolutely love mine. That's all I got for you. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.